doing, and please then also encourage Annette and all of the other young. Blessings are coming always down the religious pages.
Reverend Fathers, brothers and sisters in Christ, Christ is in our midst.
He is in our shelter.
People today have many misconceptions about the way our Heavenly Father created His beloved children. In a world where physical appearances can deceive, there live two identical twins who defy the notion of sameness. These twins, Sarah and Rebecca, were in their parents' image and likeness. They look like their parents, and of course, they look like each other. They had many of their parents' traits, like their mother's eyes and their father's nose. But they were also different and unique and held different talents and interests. Sarah's heart soared when she volunteered at a local animal shelter, devoting her time and love to the voiceless creatures in need. Meanwhile, Rebecca found solace in offering nourishment and care to the homeless. They were equals, created by the same God and even from the same parents. But their identical features were but a superficial facade. They were not stamped out like identical pieces out of an assembly line, nor did God intend them to behave like identical robots. For in the depths of their souls, God had fashioned them, gifting each twin free will and a unique set of talents to do good, serve their community, and revealing that His divine image shines through the diverse expressions of godly love, compassion, and selflessness. This sacred revelation signifies that we as human beings resemble our Creator not only in our moral and spiritual essence, but also in our intellectual capacity. We must be mindful, however, that the clash between worldly perspectives and the teachings of the Church is not something new but a recurring phenomenon. Consequently, if we embark on a deeper exploration of the concept of being made in the image of God, we shall uncover a wealth of divine wisdom. Allow me, therefore, to share my understanding of the Genesis verse that is our conference theme and try to shed some light on the distinctive qualities encapsulated in the profound notion of being fashioned in God's image. As many of us have found out, it is difficult to try new things and automatically be successful at them. To understand this verse, I ask you to picture a person who is highly motivated and willing to explore new hobbies. This individual possesses specific talents in sports, music, or art. Over time, they come to accept that this particular hobby is what they should focus on. But it is important to not confuse this with thinking that God is telling us we can only excel in one area. God created each person in His image so that we could all grow as a community and use our unique talents towards a good cause. For example, Abraham's servant explained in Genesis that he succeeded because every God is successful in everything he does. Being made in God's image, however, is not defined solely by the talents we possess and how we use them towards good causes, but also by the fact that it encompasses our spiritual nature as His children. On the other hand, in God's eyes, our image is painted as sinless Christians who love one another, even our enemies. This is exemplified in John's first epistle, where we learn that God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. Unfortunately, these aspects of the image of God have been marred by sin. As we find in Genesis, Adam remarked, "I heard your voice in the wilderness and was afraid." By His grace, however, God allowed us to return to His divine image through baptism. Furthermore, we learn from St. Paul in Galatians that for as many of you as have been baptized into Christ have been put on Christ. They have put on Christ's image and likeness. Again and again, as Christ is the express image of God the Father, this also connects to what St. John of Damascus once said about God, who is good and brought us out of nothing into being that we might share His goodness. Overall, these passages I quoted reflect the idea that God is good and He created humanity with the purpose of sharing His goodness with them. As believers of the Orthodox Christian faith in today's world, we must preserve the blessing that God has given us so that the image of God remains within us and becomes visible to the eyes of others. By losing this image, our value diminishes, similar to paper currency that grows old over time, causing the president's image to fade. Therefore, we must uphold this image through grace, spirituality, attending church, and praying, while also confessing our sins and preserving the talents bestowed upon us. It is our responsibility to focus on our own talents rather than comparing ourselves, striving to develop them for the greater good, and ensuring that the image of God remains within us for all to see. Just as God fashioned the twins we spoke about, Rebecca and Sarah, equally in his image and likeness, yet also differently, gifting each twin a unique set of talents to express that godly image by serving their community in different yet complementary and necessary ways. Thus they express better the fullness of God's good in the variety of needs it's met. They reveal that his divine image shines through the diverse expressions of godly love, compassion, and selflessness. Thank you.